Now you're gonna see that walang interes ang ating Senado para protektahan ang taong bayan, ang konstitusyon at ang pera na galing sa kaban ng bayan. Nakikita mo that they are now saying, screw accountability, wala kaming pakialam, alam namin magnanakaw itong mga to at okay lang yan. Dahil political future ko ang mas importante.
Yeah.
Then they become the lame duck Senate that they are. Pero with regards to yung usapan ng people power, no, yung ganyan. Sa akin kasi nakita ko naman yung nangyari kay, I was there in EDSA. Pumunta ka ba doon?
Right.
Dos.
Oo, EDSA DOS. I was there EDSA first, EDSA DOS. Andun ako. Sa EDSA DOS, ang nangyari talaga, that was a spontaneous outburst talaga.
Right.
Sa sobrang galit ng tao. I remember that day, I was so pissed.
Yeah.
We were texting with friends. Magbusina lang tayo sa EDSA, sabi namin. And as we were honking our horns, nakita na mga ibang kotse nagbubusina, and then people are like turning on their hazards. Biglang, sabi ko, saan ba tayo pupunta? Hindi namin alam. Tara, punta tayong EDSA. And suddenly, when we got to EDSA, a lot of cars were there. Bumaba na kami ng kotse, and then we started like, just causing a rally there. And that's how
Spontaneous,
it happened.
yeah.
You cannot plan that. You cannot say, tara, magpi-people power tayo. You cannot coax people into doing that. There has to be that outrage na sobrang madadala ka talaga. That's why I said, I don't think it's the right time, and I don't think you can plan this. It will happen if it happens, if the real outrage
But aren't
comes
you
out.
contradicting yourself? Kasi you're saying, oh yeah, sure, this is supposed, there should be a spontaneity, but if talagang garapalan nangyari, then we should expect people to come out eventually, right? I mean,
They're coming out.
online at least, I've been throwing the idea of people power out just to see what's people's response.
Yeah.
Again, it's one thing to do it online, baka iba ng panon, 2001, 2020.
Sure, iba.
But like, when you see videos of yung mga rallyista and all,
Yeah.
ito yung mga, given na yan, but it looks like it's resonating. I don't
Sure.
know. Just be clear, I don't want chaos. I'm just saying.
Look, even the first people power, if tingnan mo yung unang people power, it didn't culminate immediately eh.
Sure.
It was massive amounts of rallies, paulit. Nung namatay si Ninoy, hindi naman immediate pagkatapos ni Ninoy, nagkaroon ng people power. Hindi
critical mass.
It was several months later, and then nung nagka-election, and then nakita mong dinaya, nainis na yung mga tao, too much is too much. And then suddenly, the military, si Ramos at si Enrile said, screw this, we've had enough. That was the catalyst. You need a catalyst. Wala pa tayong catalyst. We have sparks. We have the impetus. Pero wala yung true catalyst to really create that movement.
So,
wala pa
I mean,
tayo
what
doon.
else could be a catalyst?
Oh, it could be-
Sa akin,
Garapalan na eh.
Ang tingin ko, doon sa mga outrage doon sa nangyayari, there should be more pressure on the individual senators who are going to vote for this resolution or yung de facto dismissal.
Call them out,
Or,
yeah.
call them out and let them know na if you vote to dismiss itong kaso na to, mamamarkahan ka.
Yeah.
The vote will stay with you. The same way na yung sa ABS-CBN, when they took out the franchise. Hanggang ngayon, people said, ayan, bumoto yan against. So, dapat may ganung...
Kaso nanalo si Camila at Marcoleta.
Sa Marcoleta, exactly. Nag-number 6 pa.
They have to do something. Exactly. Parang feeling ko, yun nga eh. Like the presidency is also not very encouraging. Like what happened after EDSA DOS, what happened. Ako naman, my solution to that is don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Siguro nagkakulang talaga after EDSA DOS. Like, there was a momentary outburst and then back to zero na naman. There was no effort to make sure Gloria Macapagal Arroyo is held accountable. No effort to make sure there's strong party. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think, I understand what you're saying, and I think this is where the problem lies. Nung tinanggal si Erap, ano nangyari? Ang pumalit as corrupt, unfortunately.
Some would say worse.
Sure.
Some would say worse.
Sure, because mas strategic, systematic, and even mismo yung prosecutor ng EDSA DOS. Naalala niyo si Nani Perez. Nani Perez was the prosecutor, and he was nahuli with massive amounts of corruptions, hundreds of millions, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, pero malaki yun.
Yeah.
Pero ang galing ng ginawa
Allegedly.
nila. Allegedly, I like that.
Di umano.
Tapos biglang he disappeared. Matalino. Get out of the limelight. Pero if you look at it, the very prosecutors that prosecuted Erap for the corruption that they claim to have, he has done, they themselves are as guilty or even worse. Kaya nawala yung integrity nung buong people power na yan at yung tiwala ng tao sa people power. That's why now, ang labanan is ganito. VP Sara, guilty. Pero hindi na lang sinasabi guilty o hindi. Sinasabi na, kayo din naman eh. Sina BBM din naman eh. Even though mali-mali yung mga statistics sila at mga numbers na sinasabi, pinapalabas pa rin nila. Guilty din naman lahat. Lahat naman corrupt eh. That's
Actually,
why.
di ba sabi nga nila, million na nga lang, billion na nga yung ayuda. Di ba? Ganon yung line nila eh. Parang, sige, tanggapin natin, totoo yung piatos na yan. Pero walang laban yan dun sa inyong di ba? Ganon yung nangyari. Whataboutism na eh.
Yes, pero iba naman. So those are two very different cases eh. Because Sara has been caught red-handed with the abuse. Yung sinasabi lang ayuda has been done by government since time immemorial. Hindi naman sinasabi kinuha yung pera, tinago ko. Sinabi kinuha ko pera, binibigay ko sa mga tao as ayuda. That's different. Sarah, what was she doing with the money? We don't know. Where did the money really go?
Sabi ng friends na, worst budget ever, like most corrupt
yun
budget
nga eh.
ever.
See again, yun ang nga tayo.
Mark, worst budget ever. Yun daw eh.
Pero
most corrupt
are you saying tingin mo ba? Tingin mo, when you talk about budget and worst budget nga daw and corruption, malayo eh. Di ba? Hindi mo pwede anin. And besides, even if let's say, tama yung sabi ni Toby Chanko, na there was the money given to the congressmen and women, kaya daw nila vote to impeach. But it does not dilute or even negate the fact that there was corruption, plunder that happened that needs to be impeached, regardless of meron o wala. Yun lang yun eh. They keep forgetting that fact, and the problem is, si BBM and his people are not pushing that narrative na, totoo namang corrupt eh. Kahit sabihin mong may binigay na pera, hindi, talaga namang ibibigay yan sa congressman, talaga namang may pork barrel assignments and mga yan eh. And it doesn't mean it's going to their pocket. It means it's going to projects, going to people, wherever it's supposed to go. Yun lang yun. So where's the problem with that? That's something that even Duterte did. Even Duterte was guilty of.
Chris, I don't know if it's because Ronald Llamas sat here. It's the Ronald Llamas spirit, di ba? Yung parang 100% sure what I'm saying. Like, wait. No. But I see where your skepticism is coming from, and that's the bathwater to me eh. Wala kasing follow-through after EDSA, na hijack yung EDSA, daming mga kalokohan nangyari. I understand where the cynicism is coming from. Kaya ang challenge ngayon is there a way to do a people power na doesn't repeat the mystic of the past and has credibility? So inevitably, Mark, diba? That means the pinks have to be involved. Kasi at least sila, may integridad sila. You were saying something about the liberals. Maybe they should come in and take up the cudgels. Kung
sa impeachment or sa...
the whole accountability issue, right? I mean, this could be a good start for them to say, kami talagang alternative to this whole establishment na compromise, right? This could be their pitch.
Yun nga eh, maganda nga. Parang ngayon nga yung pinks na pinaka nagpo-push dito sa Not so much nga, hindi na ganun kainit yung sa admin side eh. Yung mga tao
parang
doon
nag-give
sa
up
admin
na
side eh. Parang kung makikita mo yung sa tindig, di ba? They work together nung isang araw. Parang yung pinks and yung progressive groups na yung nagpo-push dito more than doon sa admin. Lalo na with the president saying na he doesn't want the impeachment naman. Pero yun nga, sa akin magandang foundation to going to 2028 eh. As the option for people na ayaw sa mga Duterte. At least ma-solidify yun, and then you win the moderates, and then you get a valid shot at winning sa 2028. I was saying kanina, di ba? As we head near the 2028, magtatalunan yung mga kakampi ngayon ni BBM, going to PDP, going to Sara. Magandang pang-counter yung sa PICS eh. Maganda makakuha na din sila eh ng mga, kumbaga, to get their share. So definitely, magtatalunan yan away from the admin, lalo na kung walang malakas yung admin na ilalaban sa 2028. So, hindi naman lahat yan pupunta sa Duterte. Dapat the pinks, the yellows, should be active na in recruiting, na in getting. Dito ka na lang sa amin. Dito ka na lang kay Lenny. Di ba, si Lenny was with Mayor Joy Belmonte nung isang araw.
Yes.
So, Quezon City, that's a very big
Biggest,
di ba? So, ganun. Pero iba't ibang parte ng bansa, even sa Mindanao, even sa parts ng Visayas where malaki yung panalo ng PDP, at least separate from the Marcoses, separate from this administration, pero you offer a viable alternative.
Third force. But I want to go back to this. BBM might have an option, right? I call it the T2 option, right? Tulfo Torre. right?
Tulfo ba can you consider Tulfo ba aligned
No, he
talaga?
might not be admin, but I think he won't turn down a potential, I mean, if BBM offers him support,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
I don't-
Rafi.
I'm talking about Rafi.
Yeah, Rafi, right.
I mean, Erwin even easier, right? But I think Rafi already has he already has the momentum. Siguro kung Erwin number one siya, maybe. But I think at this point, Idol Rafi emerges as the strong contender within the Tulfo family. Hindi rin nakapasok si Good Morning. No, but, and then Torre. I mean, people are like, the idea of a former PNP chief becoming a national figure, we saw that with Lacson. But Torre is even more charismatic than Lacson. He's more engaging.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see it online. Everything you post about Torre, grabe yung reaction, whether it's positive, negative, but mostly positive. I see, like natural. He's a natural, and even Pinks like him, right? Like so.
Yeah.
If I'm BBM and I look at Torre, whom after everything I stood by him.
Promoted to
Why
PNP.
not? I mean, if he's there until 2027, by the time he retires, although he can be still extended, perfect preparation in for 2020. Maybe VP, maybe not president. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm BBM, I want Torre to be there because this is a guy I've trusted with many difficult jobs and maybe even more in the
Yeah.
coming months. What do you think it's a bit crazy talking about that?
I think for Torre it's premature and pag pinakinggan mo I think you still need to be a little bit of a statesman to be able to
Right.
run. I mean, but then again, you see Duterte run. He wasn't
You
much of a
immediately saw the
Right,
problem
right.
in what you said, right?
Right, oo nga eh. Pero,
Bato pa lang, di ba?
right,
No.
oo. And, but at the same time, still, I never thought kasi nga Duterte would make a good president to begin with. And it was shown naman and it's proven na talagang he made a terrible president. Of course, you can always spin it any
Oh, by the way,
you want.
I'm not endorsing, I'm just talking about viability.
Yes, I'm just...
This is not an endorsement.
For
just
me
to be
kasi,
clear. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, Tulfo, because he's high in the surveys, pwede siya. He's performed naman to a certain extent in Senate, kept his mouth shut in some issues where he should have said something. I actually
Maybe
agree with
strategic
Mark.
yun. Maybe strategic.
Ako, mas naniniwala ako that we have the 3-year runway and I think there will be a kakamping or a yellow or whatever they want to call them that's gonna pop out of nowhere. Or maybe somehow medyo center pa ng konti that's going to parang be that, galvanizing
Gravitational force, yeah.
It's like a magnet for
Yeah,
all sides
centripetal
to just
force.
go and say, eto na. Maybe. I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful of that dark horse that's gonna come in there. Or a white knight or something that's gonna come in there and just be the force that's gonna put everyone together.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Mag-react lang ako doon kay Torre.
Sige, let's skip at Torre. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Ako, I really like General Torre. Kaming grupo ng mga vloggers were very vocal na we want him as the next PNP chief.
Yeah.
It shows naman ngayon why. Diba? Nagpapakitang gila siya.
Yes.
Yung 3 to 5 minute response. Alam mong lalo na ang perceived weakness ng Marcos admin daw is peace and order. Yun ang parating
Right.
na daw sa
Good
Duterte
point.
na time. Although nung Duterte time, puro patayan, puro
Kaya nga.
pogo. Pero anyway, yung perception ng tao importante. And Torre fits that. And saktong-sakto din nga as jumping board if he wants to run for public office sa 2020.
National
At ang
level,
sinasabi ko
yeah.
parati, yan ang kulang ni President Marcos. Wala siyang binibuild up na sariling tao from
Right.
the bottom up. Di ba? Unlike si Duterte, meron siyang bongo, bato, na talagang binild up niya na they wouldn't become senators kung hindi sila
Yes.
Not him, yeah.
Yeah, so yung loyalty nila, kahit wala na si
Yeah.
Duterte, si Pangulong Marcos wala eh. Wala siyang ganun eh.
Yeah.
Kung tutusin, ito si Torre pa lang eh, na talagang na-build up from
Yeah.
kanyang pwesto hanggang
Aha.
na-promote. So, Torre is mahaba yung future for public office. Pero with that being said, sa ngayon, ang stand ko pa rin, we still would need an alliance between the Tulfos
And the Pinks.
and maybe suporta ng admin from behind or from to have a good shot talaga of winning 2028. Senator Risa is done a very good job leading yung opposition so far.
Yeah.
Pero sa ngayon, ako mas leaning towards din si Senator Bam. Because of the momentum nung last elections and siguro baka siguro sa recall din sa tao eh. Kasi Aquino pa rin.
Right, may pangalan eh,
May
oh.
pangalan eh. So, I think
At saka hindi lang yun, ang interesting dito was, remember, when Panelo did his press con, interview, in Billionario TV, di ba? Ginawa niya yung interview niya. Sabi niya, alam mo, si Kiko at Bam, malinis yung mga yan. Walang bahid ng korupsyon. Siya na nagsabi, walang kaano-anong sobrang okay ang mga yan. So what's interesting for me is, weird lang na ginawa yun ni Panelo, pero at the same time, nakikita ko talaga yung
Hindi,
mga
ganyan
DDS.
talaga mga DDS. Basta kalaban ka ng kalaban ko, we're friends, ganun sila.
Hindi, pero yun nga ang interesting sa mga DDS ngayon eh. They're trying to court the pinks by saying, bakit kayo sumaside sa mga Marcos? Tignan mo, corrupt sila, ganyan-ganyan. Parang, kami naman, wala kami ginagawa. Excuse me, you forget that your side is also as corrupt or even more corrupt. If you think about it.
Oh, and the mass killing. Let's
and the
not
mass,
forget
and
that.
add the mass killing to that. And
Oh, and the
dis-
China, like...
And being pro-China, exactly, ang dami. Parang, excuse me, you want us to go on your side?
Dagdaga, kasi we're all talking about solid south, diba? Tapos solid north. Pero we're seeing a solid na gitna eh.
NCR, very... I mean,
Central
C2C
Luzon
corridor, yeah.
To the longest
Yeah, the C2C corridor, yeah.
To Bicol. Yung
Yeah.
middle na corridor na yun is where Bam Aquino placed number 1.
Yes.
I think that could, kumbaga, they could build on that eh. They could
Right.
build on that, yung gitna na yun eh. You have the solid north, you have the solid south. Pero yung gitna.
But my counter to argument to that is very simple, right? You could do that in a Senate race when you have 12 options and pwede mo i-ride both sides, which is exactly what happened. The reason why Bam Kiko did so well is because they were in the sample ballot literally of both Alianza and PDP Laban. 2028, it will not be like that. You can choose one president and you're gonna be exactly on the opposite side. So hindi na pwede gawin yung strategy na yan eh. So that will be my counter argument. That what happened here was the good version of a perfect storm. Let's just say all stars aligned for Bam and Kiko also to a certain degree. But that strategy, is it replicable in 2028 when ang kaharap mo is either Sara or Bongo or someone from the Duterte camp?
Yeah, but at the same time, remember that even though they have the solid south, right? Even kahit merong ganon, the north or even the north and the central is still very different in terms of political views from the south. Marami pa rin boto ang Metro Manila dito and ang buong Luzon. So it's not like they can just negate
Ingat
it
ka,
completely.
baka ma-persona ng grata.
Hindi, wala. Alam mo,
Ayoko na mag-comment
alam mo
eh.
sa akin,
Pag ganyan comment, parang ganyan na ako eh.
Pero ang point ko lang dito, ganito. For me, the Duterte did a great job with dividing the country. I don't believe in that division. I think that we should work
That's true.
as a country.
That tribalism. And
Yeah,
all that.
maling-mali yun. Pero yan ang strategy nga na lahat ng mga authoritarians all over the world, yan ang ginagawa nila eh. At they succeeded in doing that. We have to make sure we succeed in
True.
uniting everyone again.
Kailangan we need to make episodes sa Mindanao. We need to engage with the
That's
leaders.
true.
Engage.
I agree.
Kaya nga, that's what I like about Torre. Kasi he's from Sulu. Diba? Hindi ako nagkakamali. So, he's Mindanao.
Born in Sulu.
Yun.
So,
Yeah, he would be the second Mindanaoan if ever. I
Yun.
mean, if he goes all the way, yeah.
Okay. So, pero yun. So in essence, ano, for
That's
me,
why I'm saying promoting Torre might help to build bridges.
in Mindanao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, maraming galit kay Torre dahil kay Duterte thing. Pero alam mo, down the road, they'll be proud of Torre if
Yes.
ever he makes it.
And,
Diba?
he is the only one of the very few na nakikita ko talaga na takes a stand and really may
Goes all
action
the
na
way,
kasama all the way. Yung tatapusin ko tong trabahong
Yeah.
binigay sa akin. And honestly,
Competence.
I wish lang I'm waiting for him to still arrest Bantag. Hanggang ngayon. hindi ko
Probably that
maintindihan.
will come before Bato eh. That probably will come before
I
Bato.
hope. And then Bato with ICC and sana talaga